And I realize I owe him everything. And has he ever used that against me? No. Has he ever demanded and dictated and been a harsh taskmaster? No. I love God, and God's been nothing but good to me. And why people want to deny his existence, I can't comprehend that because I've never thought that way. I know there are reasons. I understand that. They don't want to be obligated to anyone. They want to live any way they want. They don't want morals to restrict their freedom of choice. I get all that. But I'm going to tell you, as someone who's lived their life on the other side, I'd rather live this way. I would rather do it God's way. And if I had it to do all over again, I'd do it again. Because that's how good it is to live for God, to live with God, to believe in God. All right, so some force, they do admit this, they call it a Big Bang, but some force was behind the formation of the universe and the origin of life. They believe it was random chance. I believe it was God. That's really the difference. And so for people to look down on us or ridicule us as if we don't have enough sense, we don't have enough sense to not believe in God, that we are uneducated and simple-minded. It makes more sense to believe that God did this than to believe nothing did it. The book, I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist, says it this way, and I like the way they wrote it. I've quoted this before. It says, if they don't know a natural mechanism by which first life could have come into existence, then they should admit they don't know, rather than suggesting a powerless word that, of course, really isn't a cause at all, and the word is chance. Chance is just another example of the bad science practiced by Darwinists. Now, I would have never accused people of bad science because that's not my field, but I didn't write this book. These people are experts. Turek and Geisler have spent their lives studying these things, and they're telling us that to know what science reveals, to have access to that field of knowledge, and to conclude that there is no God, unequivocally there is no God, is bad science. Because, as I said, science cannot say that. Science does not know one way or the other about the existence of God, and God made it that way. Before you wish that it weren't that way, God made it that way. He's chosen to remain invisible. He's chosen to withdraw His presence, and He's chosen to allow us to come to the conclusion that there is a God and to seek Him and find Him. He did that on purpose, and we're going to explain that. You do not want to miss the rest of the series. We're going to do several episodes on why God is invisible. Why did He choose to do it that way? So, but this is another kind of a summary from I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist. He says, for now, the bottom line is this: the event required to get the atheistic theory of macroevolution, which is spontaneous generation, non-living cells suddenly becoming living cells, is believed because of false philosophical assumptions disguised as science. Not because there are legitimate scientific observations that support spontaneous generation. There aren't any. So I said this, the Bible does not contradict science, not true science. The Bible contradicts atheism. And yes, the Bible contradicts the statement that at some point in history, for no reason, living cells spontaneously generated from non-living material. The Bible certainly contradicts that assumption, and that's not science. They may include it in science teaching, but it isn't science. They said it takes tremendous faith to believe that the first one-celled creature came together by natural laws. It's like believing 1,000 encyclopedias resulted from the explosion in a print shop. Atheists can't even explain the origin of the print shop, much less the 1,000 encyclopedias. Then they went on to say, therefore, we don't have enough faith to be an atheist. And that's really the conclusion that I came to before I ever read the book, was you've got to have a whole lot of faith in nothing to believe that nothing is responsible for everything. It's a lot easier just to believe in a higher power, to believe that there is a God that is behind everything you see. and that he did a good job. You have to admit he did a good job. Scientists are amazed at what they see in nature every day. God did that. He's an amazing God. They're amazed at the precision and the minute detail and the amount of information that was put into one cell. In fact, I told you this, and that's why they said this quote was like it was, but about the explosion of the print shop. But in the most simple cell of an amoeba, there is enough DNA information, and DNA is what determines what kind of life it is. You've got DNA that determines that you're a human being and what sex you are. And so that's in a cell of an amoeba that was supposedly automatically arose from non-living material accidentally, but there's enough information in the DNA in one amoeba to fill 1,000 sets of encyclopedias. Think about that. Man, I can't even think that high. Writing one book is a lot of effort. 1,000 sets of encyclopedias is the amount of information in one cell. How did that just, that would be like the most intricate, sophisticated language on earth. Do you think that just happened? You think it accidentally came into being? Nothing in science leads us to believe that those things can happen. And the reason that they have a problem is science only goes that far, and they can't deny the existence of everything. And that's the problem. It's like they know the laws that govern the world that we live in and the universe in which we find ourselves, but they can't deny that we're here. Here we are, and we're sophisticated, we're beautiful, we're precise, it's amazing, it's big, it's incredible. And so they can't deny that. And then they have all these laws they've discovered that keep things together, like gravity and the laws of nature and the laws of thermodynamics. They've discovered all these laws, and yet it can't go beyond this time and this space. So how do you explain it? It's easy. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There is another law of biogenesis called the origin of species. There's the origin of life, which says life only arises from pre-existing life. So if that's a law, and it is a law of biogenesis, it's a law of science, life begets life.